creatures of the night. It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. We started off with the Red Death, Daniel Garcia, and he's doing a interview with Renee Paquette. Daddy Magic over there too, looking like somebody lost uncle at the mall with that tracksuit in that fanny pack. And I'm just like, holy moly, where is the fashion police? Now, Daniel Garcia is in the main event with our bruv Will Ospreay for the international title. He is swearing on his mama life that he's going to end up winning this title by the end of the night. And here comes MJF, who comes and basically give him a little pep talk and says that he's going to be ringside with your boy, making sure everything goes smoothly or whatever the hell he said. We'll talk about that in a minute. We started off with an amazing opening match. We had Pac versus our American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, oh God, this is for the Owen Hart Cup semifinals. Personally, it didn't matter to me which one of these two guys was going to take the win. In my eyes, I felt like I was the real winner. We got a chance to see these two guys in the ring. Oh, they did not disappoint at all. Now, obviously, for storyline purposes, it looks more like, obviously, Bryan's going to win. But this match was neck and neck. Like, Pac was just like, bitch, I might end up losing this match, but I'm going to make you work for that fucking win. And I absolutely enjoyed this match. Really great opening matchup. I'm surprised we haven't seen these two guys. Well, you know what? Let me not say that because Pac was injured for quite some time. I can understand why they haven't crossed paths at this point. Now, we even got Pac being a little bit more on the technical side since he's going against Bryan Danielson. And he even used, like, towards the end of the match, we do get a brutalizer from Pac. And I'm looking at it, I'm just like, oh my God. If there's anything that turns me on, it's a good submission. And Lord have mercy, I got everything I needed with that match. However, Bryan Danielson takes the win with a crucifix pin. And I'm just like, no. After what we just got, there's no way they're going to end like that. And, you know, I'm like I said, it didn't matter to me which one was going to win. We know Bryan Danielson is at that last leg of his full-time, run. And at some point, it's all going to be over in terms of him competing full-time. I can see why he would advance at least to the finals to possibly go against Swerve at All In for the world title. Really, really great match. I wish it was just a better finisher. Up next, we have Willow Nightingale, who is cutting a really great promo about how no matter what happens in life, she always gets back up and she keeps smiling. And I'm just like, you know what? This is actually a pretty strong promo from her. However, Willow joined the dark side. There are cute girls back here. We have cookies. And we are absolutely just phenomenal. And I think it would be better if she would have turned heel. I don't know. I don't mind the babyface Willow, but I would love to see her being a heel as well. She's going against Kris Statlander in the Owen Hart Cup semifinals. And we'll talk about that in a second. Now, after this, we do have Mark Briscoe, who makes his way to the ring. He has the Ring of Honor title on him. And I'm just like, oh no, don't come out here talking about you injured and you're going to have to relinquish your title. And I'm just looking at it. I'm just like, if you're injured, bro, suck it up and keep that title on that waist. You've done nothing with it so far. Now, he's out here basically saying he wants to volunteer as the first person to be part of Team AEW for the Blood and Guts match that's coming up sometime in July. And I actually was just like, okay, this is on brand for Mark Briscoe. I like this. Mark Briscoe says, you know, he lost his opportunity to win the TNT title at the pay-per-view because Jackson Perry ate a bowl of Lucky Charms and got lucky, whatever the hell he was talking about. And then here comes Jackson Perry, who comes with the TNT title from behind, knocking out Mark Briscoe. Then we had, what's his name? Kyle O'Reilly, who comes out to help Mark. And real talk, I thought it was a fan that jumped in the ring because Kyle O'Reilly, he just looked like everybody else. So for a quick second, I thought it was a fan that came in. He's helping Mark. His knees all taped up with kinesio tape. Then here comes Okada to even things out here. And then the rest of the Elite come out. And obviously things are not fair. But then here comes the Elite, not the Elite, the Acclaimed, who comes to their rescue after they go on and give, I think Mark Briscoe EVP trigger. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, the Acclaim, if this is foreshadowing that the Acclaim would be part of the Blood and Guts match, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to see those guys in the ring at all. Not in that type of match. Now, we do know that the Acclaim do have a future title shot against the Young Bucks at some point, whenever the hell they want to put those titles on the line. Not sure when that's happening, but the Acclaim, bro, they haven't been over since God knows when. Now we have our women's champion, Toni Storm. She's backstage with Renee Paquette, Mariah May, and Luther. The whole time that Toni Storm is talking about how Hickory Shida is going to lose her match on Rampage against Mariah May for the Owen Hart Cup semifinals, Luther does have the stankest look in his face. He cannot stand Mariah May. Like, he just have nothing but pure hate the whole time that Toni Storm is talking about her. And I freaking love it. I mean, I never thought we'd see Luther in this type of situation, but this has been absolutely fitting for him. And everything regarding Toni Storm has been such a really great, refreshing thing to see, especially in terms of characters and storylines. I absolutely enjoy it. Up next, we have the women's Owen Hart Cup semifinals match, Statlander versus Willow Nightingale. These girls are already brawling on the ramp before they rung the bell, and I'm cool with that. Stokely, he's out there. Yeah, y'all know Stokely's going to be out there with Chris. And Stokely being out there ends up costing her the match. He has like this chain for her to use to knock out Willow with. And while the referee isn't paying attention, she goes to go hit Willow with it, but Willow moves out the way. Stokely gets hit. That's a big, Stokely almost get hit, and that becomes a distraction. And then, I don't know. He'd almost get hit, and then Willow, with that distraction, ends up taking the advantage and going for a pin, and she wins. I'm not necessarily happy about this, and I prefer Statlander to take the win simply because Willow had already won the Cup last year, and I'm all about giving new opportunities to new people. I love you, Willow, but I would have just preferred to see someone else get an opportunity. After this, we do have Jeff Jarrett back there with Satnam and them, and they're basically getting him hyped up for his match against this wild card person, whoever the hell that's supposed to be. And honestly, I don't know. I'm looking at this whole thing and I'm just like, Jeff Jarrett win tonight? It could be literally anybody, and I still wouldn't believe Jeff Jarrett was going to take the win. After this, we do have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, who comes back. She is talking about her time away. She ends up saying that she had what was considered to be a mini stroke, and she called up Tony Khan and said, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling well, and I want to just take care of myself, take care of my health until I'm feeling better. And when she said that, I was just like, oh, that is so interesting to hear. Because a lot of wrestlers don't say that. A lot of wrestlers are always quick to get back into the ring. They're quick to heal up from injuries or whatever the situation is. They don't want to be forgotten. And I can understand, but it was refreshing to hear a wrestler actually say, I'm taking time off to take care of my health, because obviously that's what's most important. That was great to hear. And obviously she looked absolutely amazing. I feel like she's always looked better than her husband. Not her husband, her boyfriend, Adam Cole. Man, she's in amazing shape. Now, I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. That shit was so long. Britt talking, and then they also incorporated Mercedes' little celebration for her double title win. And I'm just like, it felt like this was in the middle of the show. And with it being in the middle of the show and taking up a lot of time, it was just like, whoa, maybe we should have opened with this. I think maybe it would have been a better flow of the show if they opened the show with this. While Britt is talking, we cut to a SUV pulling up. The Young Bucks are already out there, and Mercedes comes out. And I'm just like, oh, that's interesting, because that does look like one of their little SUVs. She comes out, and they're like, oh, we're getting ready for a little party in the ring as we speak. We're so happy for you for winning another title and all this stuff. And Mercedes, girl, your stylist fired him. She comes out there, and before she comes out there, Britt is still in the ring, and they are rearranging things in the ring so they can get ready for this little party. They don't give a damn about Britt being over there. They're like, Britt, time's up, baby. Get out. Now, Mercedes comes out, and they're face to face. And long story short, because like I said, this was long. So Britt was saying how, like, it's funny how, you know, while Mercedes just got here and she already has 2 titles. Meanwhile, when Britt was there, she worked her ass off trying to put the women's division on her back and elevating the women and all that stuff. And I was just like, I don't know if all that is true, because when you were there, I also kind of felt like you were just shot up to the top. And you're just always there. And a lot of women didn't seem to get opportunities. There was so many women that I wanted to see get opportunities. Jamie Hayter being one of those women. And it kind of seemed like Britt was still just on top. Whatever situation. I'm not going to get into it. But, you know, she seems to want a title shot. And Mercedes says, get to the back of the fucking line. You're not just going to come to the front. Britt looks behind Mercedes and say, I don't see any line. And I'm just like, girl, there is a line. It's backstage. They're just putting your ass in the front of it. So they get into a little, you know, just them going back and forth on the mic. The crowd is booing Mercedes. They're telling her to shut the fuck up. And I'm just like, welcome to AEW, Mercedes. This is not like WWE where the crowd is friendly as fuck. They will cuss your ass out here in AEW. It was a really great segment between the 2 girls. However, it ran too long. And even if it were to be the same length, if they put that to open the show, it would have flowed so much better rather than it being kind of smack in the middle of the show. But really strong presence from both these girls. Now, after this, we have the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, who comes out. Now, when he comes out and he's like, oh, y'all know the drill. I'm here to get my TV time. But when he comes out, there's security who comes out with him. And they go all and surrounding the announce table. I didn't think anything of it at first, but then he goes on to say, oh, Hook, he broke a rule in pro wrestling by stealing my finisher, and he ends up taking the win while I was laid out after the match. Here is Taz getting up there on his 2 feet and cheering for his son, and because of that, your ass is going home. We're relieving you of your duties for tonight. Security guards are just like, hey, we don't make the rules. We just following them. Get your ass up and leave. And Taz had no choice but to comply and fucking leave. Now, Chris Jericho goes and sit down and do commentary. And I'm just like, damn, it's not a win-win situation for me. Taz leaving, I thought was funny. But Chris Jericho doing commentary, not a great trade-off. Now, I did think, hey, Taz, while you out, you might as well come and take your son. Y'all can go together. But then again, here we have our next match, Hook, Shibata, Joe versus the Cage of Agony. I could not get behind this because it's so predictable. And I can't, oh man, as much as I love wrestling, like, it's just like nothing surprises us anymore. Can we get something that's not predictable? Cage of Agony for me, despite them kind of like, they're all their individual people, but they are a legit trios, and it's just like the trios division kind of feels dead. I'm not even gonna mention the tag division, and it's just like you got a legit trio here going against Hook, Shibata, and Joe, which are not necessarily an actual trios. It would be great to see Cage of Agony take the win. It would be great to see them do something to build up this trios division at some point, whenever that's going to happen. So it was difficult to kind of get like that feeling of excitement when you already know what's going to happen before it actually starts. We do get some good stuff from Cage of Agony, but, it doesn't last long. They end up taking the L, and I wish it was not the case. Now, after this, we do have the 3 of them in the ring, barely able to celebrate. They're kind of focusing towards Chris Jericho, who's on commentary, and then Big Bill and Brian Keith comes out and attacks the 3 of them. Those 2 attacks the 3 of them. Brian Keith, who's supposed to be crippled, ain't nothing wrong with that arm. He's all right, which was interesting because earlier in the day, the Texas promotion that he works with, I can't remember the name of the promotion, they announced that Brian had to relinquish the title due to injury. This motherfucker is fine. He was swinging that chair left and right, up and down and everything. I'm just like, ain't nothing wrong with you. Anyway, They put a beat down on them. They somehow kind of maybe broke Shibata's arm, whatever the hell they're going to make an excuse about, since Shibata was the one that caused that injury to Brian. They end up beating up, what's his name, Big Bill, who is not wearing a shirt, which I absolutely do appreciate. Ends up hitting Samoa Joe in the back several times with a steel chair. He didn't do a damn thing, really. And then they take Hook and they smash his ass through a table. And like I said, your daddy should have picked you up on his way out. Did I like this? Actually, I did. Up next, we had the Owen Hart Cup quarterfinals, sorry. Jeff Jarrett versus this wild card person. And it does end up being Heyman Adam Page. Like I said weeks ago, we already knew this was going to happen, and it was a dead giveaway when the Young Fucks said weeks ago that it was one of their friends, one of the people they love and stuff. And I was just like, well, it's not many. So Heyman will probably be the only option. And then last week they showed like a video, a little teaser of Heyman at an empty house. Apparently the wife left and took the baby and took the furniture. And I was just like, this is Heyman. And sure enough, it was. And I do feel like, and this is crazy because they were in Chicago. Chicago is one of those really loud crowds. And honestly, they wasn't like blowing the roof off when Hangman came out. I mean, it was a very quick pop and that was it. I felt like the crowd wasn't 100% behind the match. And like I said, like, if they didn't give this away weeks ago, I feel like the reaction for this would have been so much different. We haven't seen Heyman in a while. I don't know what was going up with him or whatever, but he looks exactly the same like when he left. And that was interesting because I was like, oh, you didn't come back with like six-pack abs or something? Just a little something, a haircut, something. It was exactly the same. The match with Double J is alright. They're trying to, Jeff is trying to pay homage to Owen in this match, hitting that sharpshooter, not putting his back into it the way he should. This wasn't a close call at all. Hangman ends up taking the win with a dead eye. I think it's great to see him. We had Karen Jarrett, Lord have mercy, who comes out and she's checking on her hubby and he's all right. He might feel it in the morning, but he's definitely all right. Now they cut to a Hook backstage with one of the doctors. They're checking up on him. That's when the Learning Tree group come and attack him back there. And somehow the wizard, Chris Jericho, makes an appearance and throw a fireball into Hook's face. Now Hook is laid out. They got the doctors checking on him and all that stuff. And like I said, Hook, you should have left when your daddy was kicked out. None of this shit would have happened to you. Before the main event, we do have Renee Paquette with Adam Page. And the Young Fucks, they don't come on now. They're congratulating him. They want to be giving hugs and all this stuff. And Heyman's just like, hey, excuse me? And they're just like, hey, we need a fifth person for the Blood and Guts match. What do you say, bud? And he's just like, I don't know y'all like that. We're not friends. I'm here to do this Owen Hart Cup, and I'm going to win the motherfucking thing. I'm not going to be put out little shenanigans. And he ends up snatching up both of them. I'm just like, oh, you know what? Beat them up while you're here. He doesn't end up doing that. But I think the Young Bucks get the idea of where Hangman is coming from. Main event, Red Death, Daniel Garcia versus our bruv, Will Ospreay, for the International Championship. MJF comes out first. And I'm just like, oh my God, this man's body is so banging. He looks amazing. But what the hell are you doing out here for? Now, Daniel Garcia, there's like not 1 ounce of anybody thinking that Daniel Garcia is going to win this. However, I feel like what was important is to get the best performance you could possibly get out of Daniel to go against Will Ospreay. The issue with this here is that Will Ospreay has been in banger after banger after going into matches with all these huge, credible wrestlers for these past few months. Meanwhile, Daniel Garcia has been having squash matches with people that look like they've been picked out from the parking lot. And it's just like, you see why it's important, well, when you're building somebody, to not put them in squash situation against opponents that kind of like nobody gives a fuck about, because it doesn't look like you can necessarily beat Ospreay based on the people that you beat, prior. But it is what it is. Daniel Garcia put his all into this. What I thought was a huge distraction was that MJF every few like seconds or so, they're cutting the camera onto MJF, seeing what his reactions are. And I feel like that was a huge distraction from this match. If it were me, if I was booking things over there, I would have had MJF given Daniel Garcia a pep talk prior to that match, but don't come out with Daniel to be ringside. And then when it seems like Daniel Garcia is definitely about to take that L, then I would have MJF come out there. And MJF ends up offering the Dynamite ring to Daniel Garcia. Daniel takes it and he is thinking about it. He has it on him for like 2 minutes or whatever, but then decides that he doesn't want to do things the heelish way. He's going to give it back to Maxwell. He gives it to Max, and then he turns around and boom, our bruv hits him with the hidden blade. 1, 2, 3, sayonara. Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia goes to the corner of the ring. He's crying, boo-hoo. And I'm just like, bruv, there's no crying in wrestling. Stop that. And then, Will is, he's like trying to comfort him or whatnot before he ends up leaving. MJF comes into the ring. And he seems like he's comforting him too. He gets the crowd to cheer for him. He's like, hey man, you lost. This is my fault. I'm sorry about this. But look, the crowd still love you. Look at they're cheering for you. And then boom, kicks him in the nuts. And then he goes on to attack him. Only Daddy Magic comes out to help. The second Daddy Magic comes out there, MJF hits him with the Dynamite ring. And like a minute later, you see Daddy Magic laid out against the barricade. Bloodied, so bloodied. You'd think that he got beat up so bad. All he did was got hit by with a ring. Now, MJF is beating up Daniel really, really bad, even grabbing him by the neck. Daniel Garcia don't even look like he's halfway alive. We do have security guards that come out, and y'all know they're useless. So he ends up, beating up the security guards. They bring the referees, not Brian, Christopher Daniels come out, letting us know that he's still employed. And he's just like, hey, don't do this. Leave him alone. And then he ends up giving him a pile driver coming up from the top rope. And that's when, the doctors and everybody's coming in. But then our bruh, Will Ospreay, I guess he got the memo like 5 minutes late. He comes out to come help. And MJF ends up scattering like flies. He goes through the crowd. He's arguing with people in the crowd. I think he knocked somebody's phone out their hands. He's throwing trash. And he's going face to face with some crusty-ass fan that's in the crowd. And he ends up making it to the back. And that's pretty much it. Daniel Garcia is laid out on a stretcher. They end up taking him to the back. Obviously, an ambulance is waiting for him. He's bloodied. He got spit and snot all over the place. Will Ospreay seems to be really upset about it. It really gives that feel of their writing off Daniel Garcia off the storyline or off the show for quite some time. Probably doing that to give us MJF versus Will Ospreay, which is what it seems like is going to happen. MJF will be on Collision this Saturday. So we'll see what he has to say about that heinous attack that I absolutely loved. This I really, really enjoyed. The show ended up ending 15 minutes after its normal end time. And I'm like telling Khan, thank you for paying for that overtime. We really do appreciate it. And I love the way the show ended. It feels like a great story is brewing here. We got a chance to get our scumbag back, and I loved it. And a really great way to end off the show. There were some hit and misses on the show. I do feel like if they kind of put things in a different order, the show would have had flowed a lot more better. But man, the way they end up leaving you in the end with all that shenanigans and drama soap opera that we got at the end was lovely, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Guys, y'all go ahead and check out the show. I think it was great. And they show the clips on YouTube, and for the Statlander and Willow match, it's actually just, the whole thing with the Young Bucks and the blood and guts thing. And I'm just like, no, because I want to watch the match back, but they didn't repost it. They posted the wrong thing. Hopefully they fixed it by now. But go ahead and check out those clips, or if you got your little DVR set up, whatever the situation is, it's definitely all in season. And I can't wait to see what they do with that. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Ring of Honor. See you guys then. Bye.